Hi guys, this is Crypto with James talking to you today about the Fed meeting. There's some serious stuff happening today. There's going to be volatility like wild. I'm going to get into that in a second. Before I do, I update the spreadsheet. The first 26 coins I spoke about on the channel, I had invested $100, just 100 into each one. When I release the videos and you're still holding that crypto, you'll be in profit for over 26 grand. They're not the coins I hold anymore. If you want to see the coins I own, you can come check out Copy My Crypto. It's where I share every coin I buy, every coin I sell. Right now, guys, we're heading towards a recession. And fundamentally, when a recession happens and a bear cycle happens, there's opportunities in the market to pick up cryptos at discounts and make some serious gains. I found Phantom in the bear cycle in 2020, early 2020, at half a cent. Still, even with all these many retracements, it's up 155 times in value. I've got a list of cryptos that I'm really excited about long term. I'm going to watch how they retrace, how they drop. If I think they've got good entry points and they can do, 20x's or 40x's or 50x's or 100, like I said with Phantom, then I'm going to be getting in on them, and I'll be telling everyone when I do. So if you want to learn about the coins that I'm super bullish on for the bear cycle, then click the link in the description and check it out. All right, guys, there's so much happening today. So the Fed meeting happens. Fed meeting is potentially baked in. Potentially baked in. And I really want to, I know there's, CoinDesk like to say it's baked in, Outlook is but Outlook is far from certain. Baked in is strong at this point in time. Markets tend to have already priced in these kind of moments. However, we are in a time of serious uncertainty. The Fed were looking at doing, a number of the FOMC members wanted to do a 50 basis point hike in March, and they decided a 0.25, a 25 basis point hike. We're expecting a 50 basis point hike this month. We're expecting that to be announced today. However, make no mistake about it, there'll be people that want 75 basis points for sure. We're also going to be hearing about, or we're likely to be hearing some level of detail about balance sheet reduction. The balance sheet in America is outstandingly large at the moment, $9 trillion. Stupid money. And they've not really, the Fed, the FOMC haven't actually given any plan in terms of how they're going to start the process, when they're going to start it. But the last time they did it in 2019, it did so for about billion dollars per month. So the balance sheet was dropped $50 billion per month. So that was removing assets from the balance sheet. Now, I'd expect double that. When they announce it, I expect double that, because not just because of this staggering levels of inflation, the staggering high balance sheet. You've got to bear in mind, in 2017, 2019, interest rate hikes were at half the speed that they are now. So if the interest rate hikes were half the speed, probably the way that they're going to reduce the balance sheet will be roughly half the speed. It's why it's saying $95 billion is something that they are considering. 100 billion is sort of where we're looking. And that would be very, very bearish for overall markets. The labor market looks great. That's a downside in terms of inflation. However, with the labor market strengthening, with unemployment dropping, what that does is put pressure on companies to start to have increased salaries, or there's increased costs, upward pressure on wages. What that does is, to account for that, you have to raise consumer goods. CPI is already mad. Now, I do point out CPI, I think, is the shittest way of analyzing this. You're not categorizing anything, because actually, if you look at the biggest leaps in terms of costs, it's talking about gas and energy. They're the biggest contributors to living standards at all. And they're far higher than, food in terms of how much they've gone up. And what we've got to bear in mind is that this is going to be a very, very, very volatile day. These days, when we're looking at this Fed press conference, which is 2:30 Eastern time today, highly traded event. And it will be fascinating. I highly recommend people actually just go on the minute by minute candle, go on to TradingView, go on the minute by minute, listen to the meeting and watch, because you will be able to, when you enlarge the view of Bitcoin, you'll be able to see the level of price movements minute by minute. What that does is tell you as well the market sentiment for traders. Jerome Powell is generally negative. He's generally pretty miserable in terms of tonality. He's generally not a positive guy, and that sentiment tends to bleed out, and you see that reflected in charts on the minute by minute. But often we see an initial spike. The last couple meetings, we've seen an initial spike in prices before a dump off. And you got to bear in mind, when the journalists start questioning, that's when the problems start in terms of trading, in terms of prices depreciating. Because journalists will ask about the strong labor market and that's effect on inflation. Journalists will ask about their decision in terms of reducing the balance sheets. Journalists may very well ask something that they posted up only 14 hours ago, which was about CBDCs, which is a really interesting turn of events. They've put out a document about CBDCs, exploring the potential benefits and risks. They've issued a discussion paper examining pros, cons of a US CBDC. As part of this process, they're seeking feedback on CBDC related topics. And it's actually up, and you can go onto the Fed's site and have a look. But what this does do is open up the doors for potentially journalist questions around CBDCs and a wider perspective of cryptocurrencies. Now, Jerome Powell, again, could be very, very negative about it. He could be very, very positive about it. Those two things will have a huge impact on the market. Today is going to be fascinating because we are heading to a recession. US economy shrunk. GDP shrank by 1.4%. There was an expected 1% increase. That's in the first quarter. This is, things are slowly but surely heading towards a recession. We are heading that way. So the only question really is the time of it. But today is going to be a fascinating day. And the markets are going to be incredibly volatile as a result. 2:30 Eastern time, we are going to see huge, huge, huge price swings. Wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin ran up to 41.5K or certainly 40.5. Wouldn't be surprised if it crashes below 37.7. It depends very much on the sentiment and the question and the answers to the journalist questions, because that is going to give us a clearer indication of what is to come. How the Fed reduced the balance sheet, what the outlook is in terms of inflation, given the enormous CPI, although that's, again, a shit way of measuring anything. It's an averaged bullshit crap percentage. But all these factors have a huge impact on what's to come. Also, if the basis point is more than 50, that would be a surprise. If it was 25, if it didn't even hit 50, if it only hit 25, these things all have an impact. But crypto in particular is going to trade highly volatile today. And if you're looking at leverage trading, be careful, because it takes one negative comment to swing in the market down. It takes one positive comment to swing it up. And it's going to be volatile as hell. But it is going to be fascinating. Like I said, guys, watch it for a minute. Watch the minute by minute charts while you're listening. It's fascinating. Maybe I'm just a dork. I don't know. I am definitely, but maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I'll be very interested to see if there's any questions asked to Jerome Powell about a potential CBDC or crypto in general. That will be fascinating. And yeah, that's it from me. Volatility expected. Bitcoin's going to make moves today. What do you guys think is going to happen? Do you think we're going bullish? Do you think we're going bearish? I know the day has started out very well. It's up about 3% since midnight. Do you think we're going to have a really strong day? Do you think we're going to have a real capitulation of a day? Let me know in the comments down below. It'd be fascinating to hear your perspective. That's it from me. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification so you know when new content's coming out. And if you guys want to know the coins that I'm really excited about when we hit bear cycle, when we're in full-blown bear cycle mode, and I think they can, and these coins I believe can do 20 times gains, 40 times gains, 50 times gains, 100 times gains, life-changing gains, then click the link in the description and check it out. Anyway, take it easy. Bye-bye.